So once again, hello everybody, and what I want to do is finish up the slides for chapter 1 here. This is like part 2, right? So I'll say hello to everybody. I waved to you. Hello everybody. All right, so it's early in the morning for me, so it's 5:26, but I'm up. I have my coffee going. Okay, so we left off here. Monetary policy is the management of money, right? This is what the Federal Reserve does, right? And we see this with quantitative easing, and they've been raising interest rates. They're worried about an overheating economy. And you can go to their websites and get a lot of educational material, like I mentioned. So fiscal policy is when Trump and Congress fight over the budget and building a wall, and what are we going to do with the money? And we keep borrowing and getting ourselves in a deeper hole. But you can read a lot about that in the newspaper, right? So the important thing in this slide, here's the deficits we've accumulated over the year, right? The orange here this is well, a deficit right here, right? This is all orange. And you notice the big deficits, right? You notice this was the big deficit during the crash, right? Of 2008, the Great Recession. And you'll notice we had a couple periods where we actually had a surplus. And over here, under Clinton, we actually ran a surplus. And they actually did away with Treasury bonds for a while. They figured, well, we don't have to borrow money anymore. We're in good shape now. Well, that didn't last long because we had a couple of wars. I think we had wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then 2001 came and, and the best wishes were all over rather quickly about having surpluses, common surpluses all the time. But that's the way it goes. And again, there's a good thing here about the St. Louis Fed has interesting stuff about this stuff. All right, so the foreign exchange market is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never goes to sleep, and money is exchanged from one currency to another, and it's a huge money. People make money off trading on foreign exchange, right? You can buy, futures and derivatives and options on foreign exchange. So everyone, if you've traveled anywhere, you can trade money for another money, and you'll get a different whatever the current rate is, and sometimes it's more advantageous to travel from one country to the other when the exchange rates are in one direction. So internationally, well, we'll call this globally now. Global finance is basically, we're all tied together now through globalization in a way. And, Trump and lately there's been a push to get away from that, isolation, but I don't think that's really going to work. So, you'll notice when one market and in one country's down, the other stock market seems to follow. So, all these items here we'll discuss with regard to in the international markets. And here was the exchange rate of the U.S. dollar over time from the early 70s on. And it's shown as an index here. So depending on this index, it's more advantageous to travel at times. All right, so if you go to the Fed, they'll explain this in greater detail here, and they'll explain to you how the exchange rate works with regard to this index. I think this slide is a duplicate. Let's see. That looks like that's the same. Almost the same thing, I guess. All right, so this is just a quick thing about having a career in finance, what you choose, and the key word here is investment decisions, right? You all have to learn how to invest. All right, so this is just a roadmap about what we're going to go through here, equilibrium in the stock markets and profits and the like. Okay, so as I kept mentioning, here's the Federal Reserve, the Fred database, and there's a lot of you can see a lot of data, and we'll look at some of these problems. All right, so at the end of the book chapters, you'll notice that there's a lot of web exercises also. Okay, so here's the gross domestic product, right, which measures aggregate output, right? So basically, it tells you kind of like where inflation is, right? And a lot of times, if you're getting a raise, they'll say, well, the GDP is only 2%. Inflation's low, so you're only going to get a 2% raise, okay? All right, so that's really about it here. So they go through a little bit extra stuff here about magnitudes. And looking at base years. So there's a couple different measures of the price level for goods and in economic data, right? The GDP deflated, and there's it depends on what you look at. So here's the consumer price index, right? Which kind of they use a lot on the news. Okay, so that's really about it. So read this chapter, and if you have you can go to their website and go to the Fred database. So and alrighty, so I'll talk to everybody. Be safe. Again, always have a good holiday. Stay safe and good health to you.